once again made it back to the farm, and it seems as if the more things change, the more they stay the same. It is no longer a holiday week. It's the week after Thanksgiving, so we're starting that transition from fall into winter, and it looks like things have kind of gone back to normal for the time being. I'm expecting it to be, quiet until probably halfway through December. That's usually when things start to pick up, and then they'll pick up to the end of the year. So today, we're going to make a little walk through the farm to see if they're using this time to maybe make some improvements on a couple things, make some changes to Camp Snoopy, see if we can see any steps forward that way. So because we've kind of gone back to the normal way of doing things at the farm, they've closed off all the lots except for the main lot. South lot is closed by the hotel. And then of course La Palma's closed too. And the western lot is also closed. But the front gates actually look pretty busy. Good thing we're gonna go see what's going on at the hotel first. It looks like they're bringing in all of the kitchen stuff. Looks like a new fridge, new trash compactor or something. And then they've got the courtyard that they're still working on. It looks like, well, obviously they're going to, I'm assuming, finish that block wall there because of all the rebar that's hanging out. And then they're working on those windows in the back. Every time we come, they're working on this a little bit more and more. And they got a little bit more and more completed. They got the concrete all laid on the bottom. And then we'll see when they start putting the, whatever they're gonna put on those pillars there in the entryway. We're also working inside this main room now where the temporary check-in, check-out place was. In the back entrance here, that's what it looks like where most of the work is going. I'm assuming they knocked those doors out so that they can get all this kitchen stuff in for 20 acres, because it looks like they're starting work on that kitchen area in the back. We'll have to swing around the front and check out what's going on the rest of the front side, but it looks like that's what they're doing here. They're bringing in all of this industrial kitchen stuff for 20 acres, get the kitchen side all built and done. So because they have that whole side knocked off, obviously that hallway is blocked. So I'm gonna go around the other side and see where exactly it's blocked. I'm assuming it's blocked off right at the check-in counters, but we'll go around that front side and we'll see anyway. Yeah, so the hallway here is closed just past the checkout counters are. So the checkout counters are there. I'm trying to be quiet, to be courteous. So they have that whole area blocked off for the new lobby in 20 acres. Still working hard on the front entrance here. We'll swing around the front and we'll see what that looks like too. I don't usually do this. Quick glance at the pool and the splash pad. It's been open too. It looks like they're excavating out here in front of the hotel by the pool entrance to get that nice and pretty, so it probably will look just like all this. So nice. They're starting the beautification. That's how the structure's going along. We're working on the doors on the inside too. Big old glass doors. They haven't started bringing started paving the road yet, but I'm sure that's gonna be coming soon enough too. It's funny because it looked like they were just kind of holding that whole project idle for such a long time, and all of a sudden they're working on like 2 or 3 different things all at once, so that they probably got a deadline to meet, and they probably fell behind, and now they're rushing to make sure that they catch it. So I'm still expecting summer 2024, maybe spring. We'll see what happens. This is what I mean. They've got 5 or 6 guys outside chipping away. It looks like they're pouring concrete over there, or he's breaking the ground up. So it still looks like they've got stuff to do over on that side, but they're working on both of these projects at the same time. There's 20 acres it's going on, and it looks like around the back they're starting to bring in all of the kitchen stuff. And then ooh, that's really cool. And the front entrance there, you can see they've got it's like wood paneling for the entry doors. That's gonna look really cool. So they're gonna go for that, kind of woodsy Americana vibe. I dig it. I can dig that. I mean, it matches what they're doing with the lobby anyway, so that all just kind of makes sense. And this giant wood structure, obviously, right here in the front. And I don't know, 6 months or so, maybe 6 months, 4, 5, 6 months out. So the hotel's moving. I mean, it is, without a doubt, working hard to meet its deadline. Every time we come, every week, we come and check it out, there is progression. It's moving forward. And that's exciting, and that's good to hear. That's good to see. For now, we'll leave that as is. We'll head into the turnstiles and we'll see what's going on inside the park. So if I'm being honest, it's actually a little bit more crowded today than my usual, what I mean by usual days, off-season days when it's just kind of a whole farm ghost town. But I gotta be honest, I kind of hope that every day becomes a little bit more crowded, and a little bit crowded becomes more of the norm, because that gives the park motivation to grow and is kind of forcing it to become a better version of itself. Not that Cedar Fair hasn't ever done that. As we walk past this gauntlet of walls that used to be Camp Snoopy, which is actually, that's proof that KNOTT has something in the works. And I'm kind of excited to see what happens in 2024 after we get through Merry Farm here and they've got kind of a dead zone, especially because right after Merry Farm is usually the peanut celebration. You can't really have a peanut celebration if half of your peanuts land is shut down, huh? Speaking of shut down, Grand Sierra Railroad shut down on weekdays again. Probably for the next couple weeks. But the car is here, so maybe it's just shut down for the time being. Who knows? We'll see if it's open later on. We got a guy down here on the phone. He looks angry. But there is life in MonteZOOma's revenge. He's on an intense phone call, whatever that phone call may be about. Let's just hope he's talking about just how incredibly difficult it's going to be to get all these pieces back. But they gotta get it done. Linus Launchers is down again. This seems to go down a lot in the last couple years even. Like, this is one ride that really, I don't know why, I don't know what kind of mechanisms it's using in there. I assume to be the same as what's happening over at the Tree Swings and Mud Buggies, but this ride goes down a lot. And lately it's gone down even more. Like, especially, like, I've seen this ride have to call for the mechanics to evacuate people and like bring out a ladder, bring these people off mid-ride, more than any ride in this whole park. I don't know what the deal is with it, but it's just down today. But hey, you got Peppermint Patty in the park. You can come say hi to her. They have a whole Peanuts meet and greet here right next to the waterfall. That's a nice little photo op, actually, with some of the one of the lesser known Peanuts characters, but the lesser used Peanuts characters. Not Snoopy, not Charlie, not even Marcy. You see Marcy a lot around too. Around the Boardwalk Ballroom and stuff. But you don't see Peppermint Patty that often. That's kind of cool. I don't know why. I always just hope that they would fix this, but does this cartoon panel seem off to anybody else? I think this is supposed to be the first one, and then this is supposed to be the second one, and then this is supposed to be the third one, and then this is supposed to be the last one. But they have this as the first, and then it kind of moves on. And at first, this confused the heck out of me. I was like, well, I don't understand this cartoon at all. But I think it's just out of order. That's all right. I get it now. That's just something that my OCD brain picked up recently. I don't know if it bothered anybody else or not. Oh, and by the way, nothing yet. Still nothing. Still nothing. Nothing here. Nothing to see here. Still nothing to see. Gonna see nothing. There's nothing here. Nothing here to see. There's nothing here. There's nothing here to see. Nothing to see here. Gotta see something else. Let's go somewhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, to my surprise, take a look at what's reopened and moving once again. La Revolution. Running nice and quiet, like it was never gone in the first place. Not slowly but surely getting back up to 100%. So seeing that go in just a week after seeing that giant motor, or whatever that is, on the ground, it is my assumption that that's what they were waiting for. Probably the same situation that happened with Accelerator, was a backlog of parts that needed to get here and were just kind of stuck in transit. So that seems to be kind of an ongoing theme with Knott's Berry Farm when their rides break down. They tend to deal with a lot of developers that make more proprietary parts than not. So when they have to get the replacements, they are stuck basically at the mercy of the developer and getting the parts from essentially overseas. But it's back, and that's good news. I cannot say the same for our old boy Monty. I hear things going on in there. Not only did I see the guy working or he wasn't working, he was on the phone, but you know, I saw somebody over there, so they're at least paying attention to the ride. And they have the glass leaning up against that wall there. There's parts up there that are just hanging around, but there's something going on back there. They're doing something. I can hear it. I don't know what this means. I don't know if they're just picking stuff up to leave it, because they still haven't touched the ride. It's building quite the arsenal of spider webs. I don't know. I know we were supposed to hear about what happened with this ride a couple weeks ago, but I think with the opening of Accelerator, they're probably just waiting so they can space their news out a little bit and not overburden us and not overstimulate us with, you know, so much news, whether it's good or bad. A lot of people are saying it's going to be bad. I'm leaning more towards that way too, as every day we get further and further away from when this ride was actually open in the first place. And I feel like in the state that it's in, there just might not be any saving it. So with the exception of MonteZOOMa, every ride at Fiesta Village is now going. I don't even know if we count MonteZOOMa anymore, but if we do, it's every ride except for MonteZOOMA. Get some. Accelerator still running one car. That's better than none cars, I guess, right? One step at a time. We'll still say that Accelerator's brought a new life to this whole area of the park. It seems way more upbeat and alive now than it has been the last couple of years. I don't think I'll ever get tired of hearing that. Over in the back of Boardwalk, of course, Coast Rider's been down for a little while. It looks like they're finally putting those rails back up on the loading and the unloading area. I'm not sure. Maybe it doesn't look like they repainted. There's a lot of lumber here, though. I'm not sure what that lumber was for. I never saw any scrim up, and I never saw any scaffolding go up on the ride itself. But it looks like they were painting the rails. It looks like that's what they're doing now back there. Well, they're cleaning them now. But it looks like maybe they took the rails off to paint them. I don't know why they'd have to take them off to paint them. And I don't know why they didn't paint these too. I guess we'll find out when they reopen the ride. Maybe in the next week or so here also. Maybe next week it'll be reopened. I don't know. I haven't seen them testing it yet or anything. And in fact, those trains haven't moved at all. And they still have the stuff, the tape over on the exit of the ride. So there's still stuff to do, but they are putting the guardrails back up. My guess is just a refurb. Now's as good a time as any. They've got a lot of their traffic being funneled over to Accelerator, so why not? Get this out of the way, get it done before 2024. I already miss Scary Farm. The good news is they haven't sort of taken any of that down yet, so they're probably going to keep it. I've always enjoyed the factory store displays. It's also probably important to note that with the park going back to normal operating hours and things like that, the shows like Snoopy on Ice and the Birdcage Theater are not performing during the week. It's just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, at least until middle of December, when the park starts to extend the hours and go later into the evening. Old Pony Express. It's like another dark day for the river rapids too. That's all right. They can afford to shut this down every once in a while. There's a lot of water that gets pumped through this. This does deaden the ambiance on this side of the park though. And you don't realize how much life you draw from just the scenery of this one ride. You don't even have to be on it, just walking by it and hearing the water rush and the lion roar and the bear roar and stuff. But when it's not going, it's whisper quiet over here. This little view right here is like a perfect encapsulation of Knott's. Thrill rides in the background, and then like the old folksy dark rides with the train in the front, the Old West feel, music playing. This is Knott's to me. This is Knott's. This is Christmas at Knott's. Still have the tents moved off to the side there. They still have these rocks all kicked on this side of the bridge and the dirt all packed down to kind of make it a level ground with this little railroad track. So because it's closed on weekdays, I'm assuming that they're still using this for something. They also, because they have that gate or that fence back there still kicked open, they're obviously using this as a pathway for something to bring stuff in and out of, but I don't see where they're storing it. I guess to be continued, because I really don't know beyond that. Just what you see here is really what we're getting. Oh, and if anybody cared, they are starting to take all this stuff out now from Forsaken Lake to move it to the back. I'm guessing they were just trying to make room for it before they put it all back there. These are big props, so that's going away soon too. So this pathway will open up a little bit more. It's quiet over here. Line for Ghost Rider's not bad. Maybe 30 minutes or so. It's popping out of the barn, but I don't know if they're using the switchbacks back there or not. And Gold Rush Lane is also closed. So that's probably why it's so quiet over here, because there's nothing else to do unless you're heading to the bakery or going to guest services. I feel like today's Bring Your Dog to the Park Day, because I've seen a lot of service dogs in the park today, more than normal. Normal I'll see like 1, maybe 2, but this is like number 8 that I've seen so far. Not that I'm against it, but it's just kind of funny. Not gonna be doing any snow today either, obviously, just on weekends for the next few weeks. That's not gonna stop people from shopping. So KNOTT looks okay. It's moving forward on most fronts. A couple weird things going on in MonteZOOMa, no idea. And still whispers coming from Camp Snoopy. I'm not the only one that's noticed this either. Just about everybody that comes through here can see that there's really not much going on in Camp Snoopy. I know I said it a bunch during Scary Farm that we would hear more, and I really thought we were going to hear more about what was going on with both of those attractions. And I don't know if, like I said before, I don't know if the reopening of Accelerator had anything to do with it, but it could have. Maybe they're holding off just to let people enjoy something before they shatter us with the news of MonteZOOMa being taken out. Or maybe they want to figure out what they're doing with Camp Snoopy first, because at this point it seriously seems like they're taking a lot more down than they're putting up. And I know the construction where Timberland Twister and the camp bus, where that was going, when that was happening, that stopped almost as abruptly as MonteZOOMa did, but they still kept, even afterwards, they still kept closing things and putting walls up and taking things down. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So I'll keep my eyes open. I'll look around and obviously try to figure out what is happening here. But until then, we'll catch y'all on the flippity flop.